I'm looking at some Inter Miami tickets. You might see me at one of these games.
Bro, I
Apple TV.
I recommend if you can try to go. I know it's expensive. This past week,
Yeah.
they didn't sell out, and a lot of people think it's because the ticket prices are too high. I mean, even the team was selling it for $180, and that's before what Ticketmaster throws whatever fucking fees they like to put on there and then tax. So they brought down the ticket prices a little bit more.
They're around right now,
this up,
132, 138 for the next few games.
Yeah, so for the next game, I think it's Wednesday.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
You know, and they
it's not bad, but it still needs to be lower.
Expensive city. Yes, super expensive city.
And
I understand the Messi effect.
And plus, you got to travel to north.
These locals are not going to pay $400 to go to a
and that's
you don't gotta like that. Yeah.
And that's like a whole other discussion because it's getting like you don't want to get to the point where this team just turns into like a tourist trap to where you're building no real support outside of the people that already have who were lucky enough and were already fans. I won't even say lucky, but people who already supported the team and they have season tickets for the rest of the year. But you don't want to fill up the stadium with people who don't care about the team or just hear from Argentina just to watch them play and then go back home. Like you want
even the local fans that didn't, buy season tickets, who can't afford season tickets, who enjoyed going to the game.
You're pricing them out.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like that's your support.
And then,
right? Those are
and then there are
one lose draw. So
yeah, and I follow Inter Miami Twitter, so there's a lot of fans out there that are like they're priced out. Like people who maybe went to like every other game, they didn't want to buy season tickets, but they go to the games a lot. Like somebody like my girlfriend, for example, she likes to go to the games a lot, but now it's kind of like it's priced out. Like that's a lot. And then if you're talking about like the standard family of four, like a guy like your dad, you want to bring your wife and your two kids. I mean, you're talking about $500, and those are probably more. Just to take your, and then we're not even talking about parking.
Food.
They increased the parking prices to $70 on the lot.
Holy shit!
$70.
That's unheard of. I don't care. It doesn't matter what sport, what stadium.
That's ridiculous.
$70 for parking. The max.
And if you go,
it's like $30-$40.
20
like, for a Dolphins game.
And that's what it was. It used to be $17 for the lot. It used to be $17. Now you're talking about $70. It's getting out of hand, and I think they're starting to notice it because, like I said, they've started to drop the prices. I don't know what the parking is going to be like for this next game on Wednesday for the round of 32 game. But like, yeah, I mean, dude, it's insane. It's ridiculous.
I want to counter.
Uber will be cheaper.
I want to counter what Julian says because guess what? Like, you have the spectacle, okay? You got the greatest player in the world. He's playing great. He's shooting all these shots, whatever, 3 goals in 2 days, whatever. He only played 100 minutes, 3 goals or whatever. I don't know what the stat is.
114 minutes and 3 goals and 2 assists.
You got to ride that wave. Listen, as much as I know how you're saying, like, I hope this grows the actual team because you're talking about growing the team, but overall you're growing the sport, right? You're grabbing attention. For right now, in the middle of the summer, there's no NFL being played. There's no, the Marlins are playing right now.
Oh,
but I think right now, Inter Miami has the attention of South Florida. So, like, that comes at a sacrifice, right? You say, hey, you want to grow the sport, have actual real fans who actually love the team, go there. I say, ride the wave. You have all the attention. MLS, you have the worst team in the MLS. They have the worst record. They're fighting for whatever, 9th place or whatever place they're going to fight to barely get into the playoffs. You have all the attention, and the team has to ride the wave as a marketing kind of thing. Like I said, you have, I understand that like you're trying to grow the team, but this gives you attention to maybe possibly grow the team. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't.
Yeah, but I also think that you have to get to the point where you don't want it to be like Messi retires and then we're back to where we were. It's like you want to build fandom, and the people that live here, that are here locally, that are priced out and can't go to the games, that's where you build that. At the end of the day, Messi's only going to be here for 2.5 years. And like you said, you're putting people in a position who would have never watched soccer that now they're like, oh, Messi's here?
It's an event.
But then they look at the price and they're like, well, I can't go. Then who's to say? You might have lost that kid who was 5 years old, whose dad took him to a game because dad maybe never watched soccer, but he's like, well, shit, we got to see Messi. Now that kid was inspired to play because he saw what I saw. You know what I mean? But you're missing out on that chance.
Was like you said, it wasn't sold out. That's the issue right there. I don't care how much you want to put these tickets for. Like the goal is to sell out the stadium. You want people in the seats, fill the seats. Yeah. So if you have the greatest player to ever play, and there are missing seats because the tickets are too expensive, like, are you really like justifying? Like, it doesn't balance, right? You can have $500 tickets, you're making the money, but you have more people watching at home that would rather be there, but they can't afford to be there.
Yeah, and even like resellers, it's not even worth for the resellers to buy tickets and resell because they're so expensive. It's like no one's going to buy my resale ticket, which in a way I kind of like, but in another aspect, it shows how expensive the tickets are.
Julian, and I want to talk about what you said earlier, like how you were discussing, like, yo, I can watch this thing on TV. Like I'm in Austin, Texas. I can watch this thing on TV and I'd be like, yo, I can see greatness, but to actually see it in person, like it's a whole different experience. So like, this is like a kind of like a once in a lifetime kind of thing. The best player in the world, historic player, an icon, a legend, to actually see him in person, like it's a whole different feel. So kind of combining what you said earlier with what Joe was talking about, is like you gotta fill that stadium because like this is like Jordan. This is whatever you want to say, Jordan, LeBron. You want to say I don't know, Serena Williams. I don't know, the greatest players, icons, history makers. Like this is the time to actually watch the sport and grab their attention and kind of like, hey, we're witnessing greatness, if I can say that.
And I mean MLS and just soccer is in such a unique position because look, you sign Messi. Now next summer you're having the second largest tournament, second or third largest tournament in the world in Copa America, which essentially is a mini World Cup on this side of the hemisphere. Is going to be hosted in the United States, which most likely is going to have a game here, and Messi's probably going to start for Argentina. A massive thing. Then in 2025, you have the Club World Cup, which essentially all the biggest clubs in the world, which is if you win the Champions League, you qualify for the Club World Cup. It's going to be here hosted in America. And then in 2026, you have the World Cup. So it's like you have this 4-year span where you need to get as much fandom as you can. You are in a unique proposition that you will probably never have, ever, in this country. So it's like you have to take advantage of it. And I still think it's like I genuinely believe like how you inspire fans and like kids and people who want to play and watch the sport is like I said, it's one thing to watch it on TV, and I fell in love with sports watching it through TV, don't get me wrong. But like when you see it in person and you see it, it's like, oh shit, like I want to be that guy. Like, and I think, if you're just pricing out everybody to where it's just a bunch of celebrities or like rich people all over South Florida,
Kim Kardashian,
it's just the place to be. You're building.
They did that with the Miami Heat, man. That's why it was like, not to interrupt you, Julian, but Miami is such a bandwagon sports city.
But here's where the Miami Heat kept people like Gabe and I don't want to say Gabe. Gabe's been a Miami fan forever, but I'm saying people who maybe like kids who grew up during that like Wade era. The reason why they kept those, I think the one exception with the Heat was that they consistently kept on winning. Even once after 2014, they weren't contenders, but they were still pushing for playoff spots. They were still good. Outside of that Michael Beasley second overall draft pick year, like Heat have always been kind of relevant. Who's to say like once Messi's gone? I think ownership. I trust ownership here with David Beckham and Jorge Mas to keep the team relevant and spend money. But like, who's to say like after a bad season, like the track that we were on this season, who's to say that happens 2 years after what's it like? And like you said, it's a very bandwagon thing. And if you don't have those diehard fans like me or the people in the supporter section, all the supporter groups that have been able to, those are going to be the people that stay no matter how bad.
No matter what.
Yeah. If you're not able to grow that fan base because you've only allowed the wine and cheese crowd into the games, it's like how do you build that unless you consistently stay relevant? But like you said, they can't even sell out the 22,000 because they're so damn expensive.
And we're here. We're talking about, hey, we need a bigger stadium because we're gonna have constant sellouts and people waiting outside. So to me, that was a surprise hearing that. Like the game, like it might not sound like a.
Don't get me wrong, it was full.
Like, for sure.
It was like maybe, I don't know, 95%. But at the end of the day, like you said, we have fucking Messi. This is 22,000 seats. Yeah, that shit should not have a seat available for the rest of the fucking year.
People should be jumping over fences to get inside.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was like envisioning. Like people jumping over fences trying to get in.
Dude, people are waiting outside on Ticketmaster till last minute, and I heard a lady she got in for she got in. She was waiting outside, and she got in for like $70, literally like 5 minutes before kickoff. She was just sitting there on Ticketmaster because you get all these resellers like shit. Like I bought these things for fucking $200 and I could sell it for $500, and then whatever, I got to get something back. So I've been seeing people do that, but the team, I think minimum that, I mean, it should be what it was before. I would want to see tickets got to at least be $90. Like, come on, like at least honestly, let people
Julian,
in. Like,
we should have done that for the NBA Finals. We should have just waited outside of Kaseya and just see if the tickets drop.
Maybe. You never know.